acabei de terminar aqui a série de missões da Hulk. E esqueci de colocar no vídeo que ela deixou essa mensagenzinha aqui no Expresso, junto com a visita dela ali, ó, no cantinho. E agora também vamos fazer mais missões de companheiro, que eu também fiz uma missão da Natasha mais ou menos ali na época da missão da Hulk, há uns 7 meses atrás. Pelo que eu vi da parte que eu editei da Hulk, não tá tão ruim assim o áudio, a qualidade da imagem e tal. Então, é meio antigo, mas bom, levem isso em consideração, tá? Deixa o like, se inscreva no canal e simbora. E aí, Natasha? Você precisa de ajuda com o quê?
You came at a good time. There is something you can help me with. According to my patient records, there are a few that haven't come for their follow-up visits. It happens from time to time, but never as regularly as this. I'm a bit concerned. Have you heard of the Complex Illness Mutual Aid Society?
Não. Parece suspeito.
I agree. Generally speaking, mutual aid societies like these allow patients to share their experiences and support each other. It's a way of countering all the negative emotional effects of being ill. But there might be more to this society than that. I've got a few patients who have started refusing treatment since joining the society. It certainly makes you wonder. The most suspicious part is that no matter how much I ask, no one's ever willing to tell me anything about it. And that's where you might be able to help.
Tá, eu vou me infiltrar. O que eu tenho que fazer?
Pretend to be a patient. Help me investigate this so-called mutual aid society and find out exactly what they're up to. If I find out they're preventing me from doing my job, or if they're bringing harm to my patients, I won't just sit on the sidelines. Can I entrust you with this task?
Eu já disse não pra você.
You're as considerate as always. This little clinic has huge numbers of patients to deal with every day. If I didn't have you here to help me out, I wouldn't be able to focus on giving them quality care. Good luck. I'll be sure to thank you properly when you're back.
Beleza. Missão para a senhorita Natasha. A origem da medicina. Paciente depressivo.
You. I've seen you in the clinic. You run errands for Natasha, right?
Depende. Você é meu inimigo? Elas foi meu disfarce.
Cover? What are you talking about? Let me guess. Natasha wants you to persuade me to go back for a follow-up visit, right?
Hã? Ah, eu achei que esse cara aí era o inimigo que eu vou me infiltrar.
Você não tem inimigos.
What's the use? I'm terminal. Life will be over before I know it.
Esse é o diagnóstico dela?
Of course not. I read it in a book.
Eu li num livro, beleza.
Every book I read has descriptions that match my symptoms exactly. I can diagnose myself with a dozen incurable diseases before I get halfway through.
Ué, o famoso pesquisei no Google, né? É isso.
In my situation, a follow-up visit is just a waste of time and money.
Não tá, né?
Not to mention medicine.
Você tá falando sério?
What else is there to say? Natasha was seeing me free of charge. She said I could keep a tab running for as long as I liked, then pay it back when I had the opportunity.
Acho que entendi. Dinheiro é uma coisa, mas
You think I need you to tell me?
a vida, né? A sua vida, no caso.
I've already thought this through. Dr. Vash never charged me anything either. Natasha's great, but Vash was always my number one.
E quem é esse cara?
Natasha's brother. They
Huh?
both used to practice medicine back in Rivertown.
Ah, o irmão da Natasha? Ó.
I heard he was a top student from the Overworld Medical Academy. Belobog's main hospital wanted him. I have no idea what convinced him to set up down here. A kind heart, maybe.
Atendimento médico de graça?
What do you mean?
Como assim?
Dr. Vash was a people's doctor. He handed out free medicine. He even followed up with detailed questions on how he felt. The underworld is always short on medical resources. They say that Dr. Vash made all his own medicine himself.
Caraca.
You think I don't want to? I heard that he passed away. I should keep my voice down. Don't go telling anyone else about this next bit.
Tá.
I heard that Natasha had something to do with Dr. Vash's death.
Ih,
They say she was jealous that her brother had stolen her patients, so she...
não é possível.
Hey, it's just a rumor. Don't take my word for it. Forget I said anything. Since Dr. Natasha sent you over specially, I'll do her a favor. I'll go to the clinic for my follow-up a little later. Bye for now.
Beleza, bye bye.
Avoiding a follow-up visit due to money issues. I should find another patient to talk to.
Como assim, velho? A Natasha tem um irmão e ela possivelmente matou o cara?
Oh, you'll have to be louder.
Eu espero que não, né?
My ears aren't what they used to be.
Queria saber porque você não compareceu ao retorno.
Ah, the follow-up visit. Is that what you're asking about? Natasha's a wonderful girl. She always gives me a thorough checkup. But at this age, it's rather a lot to bear. Even if they could cure me, I'm sure I wouldn't be around for long.
Não é perda de tempo quando a gente fala da saúde, né?
Not for youngsters like yourself. When you get to my time of life, good health is a bit of a luxury. My husband had the same illness as me, but he never touched the medicine. He wanted to make sure I had enough.
Oxi.
Then, one day, he said he needed to take care of some things at the mine. He never came back. He was forever saying he wanted to go before I did. Ah, selfish old fool. I miss him. Now that he's gone, who cares how long I stick around?
Eu não sei o que mandar aqui. Talvez essa?
Do you think so? Wouldn't he want me to hurry up and join him? Kids today. Don't give up easily. Okay, you win. It's
Aí.
off for another follow-up visit with Dr. Natasha, I suppose. Did you want to say something else? My ears are terrible.
Consegui convencer alguém. É isso, vambora. Você já ouviu sobre essa sociedade esquisita aí?
Virtual who?
Não, moça, sociedade.
All right, I heard you. Do you have to shout? No, I've never heard of any mutual aid society.
Avoiding a follow-up visit because of her husband. I should find another patient to talk to.
Outra pessoa que não conhece. Paciente SUS.
Why haven't I gone for my follow-up visit? Are you a patient too, or did Dr. Natasha send you over?
Por que você acha isso?
Who else would care about people like me? I don't need Dr. Natasha's help now. Tell her to save her worries and medicine for other people.
Você brigou com ela?
A dispute? No. She's the only kind-hearted doctor in the underworld. I just don't really approve of her methods, that's all. Too idealistic and no real efficacy. She tries to save everyone, which means she can't save anyone. In the end, it's the patients who suffer, and she just tires herself out. Miners like me don't have time for lengthy treatments. If I can't take something and get right back to work, I may as well lie down and wait for death to come knocking. Did you, know Dr. Vash? His wonder medicine is cheap, and the results are immediate. You just need to, be willing to, take a little risk.
É o famoso medicamento SUS, né?
Dr. Vash's medicine is different. Lots of people make a full recovery after taking it, but some get worse, and the unlucky ones check out early. Even knowing the risk, most people fight tooth and nail to get hold of the medicine. You know why?
Não faço ideia.
You've clearly never been in really dire straits. When life forces you to the edge, you'll throw yourself at any opportunity, even if it means risking it all. For people like us, a slow and torturous treatment is the same as a death sentence. If it's between that and a quick result, we'll take the latter. Forget it. Why am I telling you all this? Dr. Vash is dead anyway.
Ué, onde eu consigo esse remedinho milagroso?
What? Now you're interested in the wonder medicine? Listen up. The Complex Illness Mutual Aid Society is still selling that medicine. I can tell you where they trade, but there's a rule.
Tá.
You must not tell any of this to Dr. Natasha. You hear? If you break the rule, you'll face the consequences. Yeah, take this.
Vou guardar comigo, moço. Confia.
Final warning. Do not reveal this information to Natasha.
I know where to find the
Fica
wonder medicine.
tranquilo.
What should I do next?
Vou contar nada não, fica
The
tranquilo.
patient didn't want me to tell Natasha about this. Should I listen to him?
Eu acho que é melhor contar. Vamos contar primeiro, né?
So the Mutual Aid Society found Vash's research results, and now they're selling this so-called wonder medicine to patients. Any organization doing something like this is interested in more than just mutual aid.
Os pacientes queriam que eu não te contasse.
I'm not surprised. They'll know that I'm completely against them using this wonder medicine. What Vash left behind is nothing more than reagents and experimental byproducts. The word medicine doesn't apply here. I warned the patients countless times, but seems like they had their heads in the sand all along. No wonder they kept the Mutual Aid Society a secret from me. Thank you. Those patients weren't exactly singing my praises. Thank you for having faith in me.
Imagina, moça.
If you're curious about Vash's wonder medicine, you should ask some of the patients in the clinic. See what they have to say about the effects.
Agora que eu já falei, né? Vamos descobrir aqui.
The medicine Vash left behind? That stuff... Can you even call it medicine? I know Dr. Natasha's here, but I have to tell it like it is. Vash had zero medical ethics. He didn't deserve the title doctor. He may have had the capability, but he didn't use it to help anyone. Whenever I went to see him, he never even asked about my illness. He just prescribed me his so-called wonder medicine. If it were you, would you have taken that medicine?
Some people say that Dr. Vash was a saint who came from the overworld to help those in need. I don't buy it. People's doctor, that's just what people who've bought into the myth like to say. Vash used to distribute free medicine all the time.
Que de graça? Oxi.
He couldn't have cared less about the people taking the medicine.
Aí é totalmente duvidoso mesmo, entregar um bagulho de graça assim.
The truth
Ué.
is that we were just his test subjects. It didn't matter if the medicine worked or not. What mattered was having a constant stream of willing lab rats. Of course, I can't control what anyone else thinks. That's just how I see it.
Eu acho que o que aquela ali disse faz sentido, tipo, se ele não se importava com a doença das pessoas, ele só distribuía remédio por aí, então o cara tava usando essas pessoas como rato de laboratório, né, pra ver se o troço funcionava ou não. Eu acho.
I still haven't worked out how to convey it to you. The issues surrounding Vash. My relationship with him. The things he's done in the underworld. It's a long story. I'm guessing you've heard a lot of different opinions on Vash. What do you make of him?
Eu acho que ele perdeu a cabeça?
I see. I can understand that. I want you to go and visit another patient, a victim of the wonder medicine. I want you to see the real consequences of abusing that medicine. Once you've understood her situation, come back and tell me what you think. After that, I want to ask for your help again.
Mulher solitária. Oi, moça.
Who are you?
Amigo da Natasha.
Who? And... who am I?
Você é uma das pacientes da doutora Natasha.
Where's my husband?
Você lembra?
And where's my child? Where are they? You know where they are, right?
Você tá bem?
You don't know. They don't know. Nobody knows. Where did they go?
Come over here, child. It's best to
Susta essa voz, mano, na
leave
moral.
that poor lady in peace. Let me.
Eu, hein?
That poor lady. Both her husband and child became ill and passed away.
E foi isso que deixou ela assim?
Yes. Before her family passed away, She was a carefree young woman. Her husband and child caught a mysterious illness. The symptoms weren't grave, but their livelihood was certainly impacted.
Ah, nem me surpreende, mas esses carros com os carros com som alto passando na rua, velho, o bagulho chato.
In order to try
Ai,
and
ai.
rid themselves of the ailment once and for all.
Sempre aparece quando eu tô gravando, mano, que ódio.
Took some kind of
Parece algum tipo de
wonder
maldição,
medicine.
velho, eu, hein.
Who would have thought their condition would deteriorate so rapidly after they began using it? The two began to suffer terribly, such that death then became a blessing. It wasn't long before they departed this world, one after the other. From that moment on, oh, she became as you see her now. If Dr. Natasha hadn't taken her under her wing, well, it doesn't bear thinking about.
É, parece um veneno.
And yet, what more could have been done? They were warned about the medicine. They were told about the risks. And they chose to roll the dice. Talking about it tires me out. At least my husband and I are able to help her where we can. I just hope that one day she can lead a normal life again.
Caraca, é pesado mesmo o negócio, né? Mas por que levou... O que levou o irmão da Natasha a fazer esse tipo de coisa?
Did you speak to her? By the look on your face, I'm assuming you've come to understand the wonder medicine all too well.
As pessoas que vendem isso são uns demônios.
Be it Vash or the Mutual Aid Society, forces like that can take full advantage of the typical underworld state of mind. Let me tell you a story. There was once a brilliant overworld doctor with unmatched pharmaceutical skill. The doctor was set on developing a medicine that would steel the human body against the cold. He named his research project Blizzard Immunity. But his research met with obstruction time and time again, the biggest factor being a lack of test subjects. Tampering with the human immune system carries huge risk, and nobody in the overworld was willing to submit themselves to such experiments. As such, the doctor got in touch with his sister in the underworld, claiming that he wanted to support the medical effort below ground.
Ah, tá. O cara era do mundo de cima, a Natasha era do mundo de baixo, mas eles eram irmãos. Como eles se separaram? Então...
Naturally, his sister was overjoyed. After all, as far as medicine was concerned, her brother had always been the standard she'd strive to attain. She brought her brother underground and entrusted him with her clinic and laboratory. I think you know what comes next.
É difícil acreditar que ele era seu irmão.
Issuing free medicine to the needy was just Vash's way of conducting experiments on his test subjects. On some level, his reagents were able to alleviate the patient's suffering, but nothing more. They would forget their pain for a while and neglect their regular treatment plans. The result? Patients with mild illness would attribute their recovery to the so-called wonder medicine, while patients with serious illness would quickly deteriorate, and sometimes die. I cannot accept that their fate was simply the result of misfortune or risk. No true doctor would accept that. That's why I want you to help me recover all the wonder medicine. Are you willing to take on this assignment?
Alguém tem que fazer a coisa certa.
Thank you. This will be hard for the people that have come to rely on the wonder medicine. But it's up to us to remove this false hope. You mustn't hesitate. Recover every last reagent that Vash left behind. I'll take responsibility for the consequences. Don't worry about that. Go. I'll be waiting for the good news.
Alguns momentos depois.
Aí os seus figurão. Vai passando aí os remédios.
Right there. No one's allowed up ahead.
É, tô aqui pra comprar.
Who are you trying to kid? You're that clinic woman's lackey. Did you think the Mutual Aid Society didn't have its own intel? She's after our medicine and sent you here to smash the place, right? Men, look lively and send this idiot packing already.
É, não deu... É, aí deu ruim, né? Tentei enganar eles, mas realmente não rolou. Tá, as caixas velhas têm remédios com números dos experimentos. Esse deve ser o remédio milagroso. De repente, há passos atrás de você e...
Well, look who we have here. Your reputation precedes you, outsider. I didn't take you for a bandit and a thief.
Bandido e ladrão. Quem é você?
You listen here. I'm the president of the Complex Illness Mutual Aid Society. The medicine we hold here is lifeblood for many of our members.
Por que meu rosto tá virado?
Those poor patients. Along comes a life-saving wonder medicine, only to be snatched away by a shameless bandit.
Meu irmão, é vocês que estão fazendo algo errado. Não vem querer me fazer de culpado, não.
The underworld is full of sickness. What would happen if we left it all to that clinic to treat? My mutual aid society has relieved that doctor of patients at the end of the road. Shouldn't she be thanking me?
A Natasha nunca desistiria de um paciente e nunca trabalharia com alguém como você.
Seems like you are quite bent on dismantling our operations, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
Seeing as you came all this way, it'd be rude not to give you the opportunity. Men, seize the medicine thief.
E vamos lutar contra mais figurantes. Nossa, que alegria.
Olha só que legal!
Blast it! What did we ever do to you? Why are you taking away our moneymaker?
Moneymaker? So you admit it then?
Galinha de ovos de
You're not
ouro.
in this to save lives, you're in it to get rich.
What are you doing here? Oh, as if we didn't have enough trouble already.
Selling fake medicine with false kindness. You should have expected trouble to find you sooner or later. I have a responsibility to protect the well-being of my patients. Or to put it another way, I must eradicate any and all threats to them.
O cara todo tremendo. Legal. As mãozinhas tremendo. Muito
The
bom.
underworld is teeming with sickness. How could you possibly pull it off?
You're right. I can't save everyone alone. But if I must, I would sacrifice food and sleep to treat them. The debt that Vash owes to the underworld rests with me. All I can do is help everyone to the best of my ability. To the very end.
So stubborn. In that sense, you're no different from your crazy brother.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Então tá, né?
Thank you. Your actions today have saved many underworld families.
Imagina, moça. Tamo
I'll
junto.
find a way to dispose of Vash's leftover reagents. Next time the Mutual Aid Society wants to whip up a quack cure, they'll be out of luck. Let's go back to town. I still owe those patients an explanation.
It looks like the patients have surrounded Natasha. Let's hear what they're saying.
What are you saying, Doctor? The wonder medicine is out of supply?
Correct. That medicine is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Wildfire has cut off the supply chain. Your ailments need rational, scientific treatment. Relying on pseudo-medicines will only worsen your condition.
Rational and scientific, huh? The way I see it, you're just jealous you lost your patients.
How dare you speak to Dr. Natasha like that? Where are your manners?
Ma'am, please think for a moment. How can you still be siding with her? That wonder medicine was working fine for us, and now it's gone because she wants it to be? How can she?
I understand your anger, but as your doctor, I ask you to trust my judgment. I will find a way to access more medical resources and help you through your struggles. If I must, I'll get help from the surface.
The surface. I almost forgot that you were an overworld big shot.
Have some respect for Dr. Natasha.
Olha esse cara, velho.
If it's respect she wants, she better find a replacement for the wonder medicine fast. If not, I'll tell everyone about how she set up Dr. Vash. I'm out of here.
É isso, né, coitada. Tá legal?
Oh, you're here. I apologize. That must have made for uncomfortable viewing.
Queria dar uma surra naquele babaca.
Don't let your emotions get the better of you. If I were in his shoes, I might well have had the same reaction. Now I need to focus on treating the patients and dispelling their doubts. Let's leave it
O
for
que eu
now.
queria falar?
I'll feel a lot better once I've gotten rid of this mess that Vash left us. Now's as good a time as any to tell you Vash's whole story. If there's anything you want to know, don't hesitate to ask.
Ok. Ele era seu irmão biológico?
No, but I used to think we
Imaginei.
were so close that we may as well have been. I, actually grew up in the orphanage. It wasn't until I was adopted by an overworld family that life changed for me. My adoptive mother always saw me as her own flesh and blood. And Vash loved me like a sister. That is, while we were still young. My adoptive parents belonged to a prominent medical family. As kids, we were exposed to all kinds of medical texts. When we were older, both of us got straight into Belobog's medical school. We were on a path into the medical profession.
Como que o Vash era?
He was gentle and introverted. But when it came to work, he could be absurdly obsessive. Like a completely different person. Whenever I made a mistake in an experiment, he'd bite my head off. And then a while later, he'd apologize and comfort me. He was conflicted in that way.
Como assim acabava comigo? Ele não te batia não, né, moça? Moça?
I didn't know he had leftover reagents in Rivet Town. I was shocked when you told me. If you fail to make a clean break with the past creeps up on you.
Ele bateu as botas mesmo?
That's a long story. Ever since he was little, Vash had always wanted to develop a medicine called blizzard immunity.
Esse remédio você já me falou.
He saw the human body's vulnerability to cold as a disease, and wanted to cure it so that humanity could survive the eternal freeze. If he succeeded, people would be able to leave Belobog and rebuild their homes in the snow plains.
E se você concorda com ele, isso seria tipo a ideia que é boa, mas a execução que foi horrível? Você não sei.
To be honest, I never understood how he'd achieve that blizzard immunity. But I do admire that vision and perseverance. I always chose to believe him, ever since I was a kid. I knew his research in the overworld wasn't going well. I used to write to him and ask him to come down and stay with the kids in the orphanage for a while. I thought it might help take his mind off his research. But I was too young to know what long-term frustration could do to a person. It changed him in a terrible way.
Mudou?
During his stay in the underworld, he met patients affected by fragmentum corrosion with mild symptoms. Compared with non-patients, their bodies reacted differently to hot and cold. And that fascinated Vash. He began to simulate mild fragmentum corrosion, thinking that it could lead to breakthroughs in developing blizzard immunity. Those reagents of his aren't cure-alls for critical illness. That doesn't exist. Vash made the reagents to mitigate the suffering of his patients in the short term. A convenient way for him to observe changes in his test subjects. But behind my back, he had been doling out the reagents to residents who were kept in the dark. When it finally struck me that something was wrong, his terrible research had already turned him into a madman.
Nada te pareceu estranho durante esse tempo todo?
I trusted Vash with all my heart. Funny, isn't it? And pathetic. When his experiments were exposed,
não acho,
I
moço.
spent a long time with Oleg discussing how to handle the aftermath.
Assim, você confiava nele. Era uma confiança meio cega, talvez, mas acho que é normal, né?
This was shortly before the underworld was sealed off. There were hardly any Silvermane guards remaining. We spent ages trying to find a way to handle Vash. In the end, Oleg suggested that we banish him and permanently deny him access to the underworld. Had his victims found out the truth, Vash would have been torn to pieces by furious underworlders. I was young and weak at the time. Oleg must have worried about how I'd react to such a scenario, or he wouldn't have suggested banishment.
Acho que vocês fizeram a coisa certa.
I hope so. The day I learned the truth, was the day I no longer recognized my brother. Oleg and I took Vash to the overworld. He made his final request to us. To take him outside the city to the snow plains he'd always wanted to conquer. His figure gradually disappeared into the snow curtain. I've been telling myself that Vash is dead ever since. Forgive me. I'm not good at telling stories. Vash was a terrible brother and a worse doctor. That's all you need to know. Let's call it a day.
Tá bom.
Thank you for cleaning up the mess my brother left behind. Here, for your trouble.
A Origem da Medicina, pesado, né?
Essa foi a primeira missãozinha com a Natasha, revelando mais sobre ela, com o passado dela e a relação com o irmão, que era um médico extremamente talentoso e que não sei o que, mas aí ele meio que, entre aspas, se corrompeu enquanto ele fazia uma forma de tratar as pessoas do mundo de baixo. Por mais que fosse um propósito nobre, né, ele querer salvar as pessoas e tal, ele acabou se perdendo no meio do caminho e esse remédio que ele fez trouxe diversos efeitos colaterais, tanto que teve até uma NPC ali que eles mostraram que ela tava meio... que o remédio, entre aspas, estragou ela e tal, e como isso é extremamente perigoso. E missão interessante, mas agora vamos para a segunda missão, que de certa forma vai concluir toda essa história dela, da Natasha com o irmão e a família dela. Você queria me perguntar alguma coisa?
Can I talk to you for a moment? I have a favor to ask. Something rather personal.
Claro.
I want to thank you again for recovering the wonder medicine. It meant a lot to me. But disposing of Vash's reagents isn't enough to solve the medical supply shortage. Many of my patients can't be seen promptly, and my stock of medicine is running low. Thanks to you, the route to the overworld through the furnace core has reopened. I'd like to use it to return to the surface and see if I can get some help.
Ok. Ajuda de quem?
I knew you'd be interested. Remember my adoptive parents I mentioned to you a while ago?
Moça, eu confesso que... Olha, desculpa, mas eu realmente não lembro. Agora eu não lembro.
After the reopening of the furnace core passage, I had an idea. I wrote a letter and asked Sampo to deliver it to my parents' old address.
Ah, ok.
I didn't have high hopes, but amazingly, Sampo brought me my mother's reply.
Ele não forjou a mensagem não, né?
No, I recognize my family's handwriting. We are all doctors, after all. Mom said they still live at the old house, but they're not working on the front lines anymore.
Da outra e essa é
They should still have some
sacanagem.
connections in the medical school and the hospital, though.
Será uma baixaria sem tamanho.
If I'm lucky, maybe I can convince them to send extra medical supplies to the underworld. Of course, that's not the only reason for me to go back to the surface. I can't wait to visit my parents again. And I can tell from my mom's letter that they feel the same. If possible, I would like you to go with me.
Ah, eu? Claro.
Wonderful. That's such a relief. I've sent another letter to my mom telling her to find us near Fountain Plaza. Don't worry, I know my way around the administrative district.
Ah, ok. Então vamos lá, né? Imunidade a Nevasca.
This place doesn't seem to have changed much from what I remember.
Oi.
Oh, there you are. Sorry, I got distracted watching the crowds. Look at the busy flow of people. Life in the overworld carries on as usual, as if nothing has happened. We're a little early. I've got an idea. I want to buy my mom a gift. You're more of an overworld local than I am now. Any suggestions?
Sei lá, flores?
Flowers, huh? That's a great idea. I've been
Aí,
underground for
escolhi
so
certo.
long, I almost forgot what flowers smell like. Flowers it is, then. Can you lead the way?
Posso, vambora. Segue o pai, moça, segue o pai. Cara, se tem um lugar de belobog que eu... Assim, eu nunca mais visitei depois que eu entrei aqui pela primeira vez, mas, pô... Esse lugar aqui é o mais bonitinho que tem dentro de belobog até agora, velho.
Sorry. I don't mean to sound cynical. Maybe it simply represents the people's hopes up here. Now that I think about it, sending flowers is quite the tradition in my family. Mom, Dad, Vash, and I, whenever something good happened, we sent each other flowers to celebrate. Do you want to hear a flower story?
Qual era a flor favorita da sua mãe?
Each year for their anniversary, my dad would send my mom a bouquet of ball peonies wrapped in red paper. I heard that ball peonies represent love that knows no end. It does fit their marriage.
Eu tenho uma leve curiosidade com esse negócio de significado das flores. Algum dia eu tenho que dar uma estudada nisso. É algo que eu tenho curiosidade em saber. Do seu pai.
My father is a famous surgeon in Belobog. Because of his fame, people in medical circles paid great attention to his surgeries. He always had a lot of stress to deal with. Each time he finished a tricky operation, my mom and I would buy a single stem of sunshine and then pin it on the chest pocket of his apron. Sunshines represent warmth and love of light. For patients on the verge of death, my dad might have been the only light to penetrate the darkness around them.
Qual era do Vash?
Vash.
Vash.
Out of everyone in my family, I think he probably appreciated flowers the least. Still, I remember the day he received his offer from the medical academy. My parents took me to the florist, and we bought him the most expensive marquise stem in the shop. When we gave him the flower, he failed to hide his smile. You can't imagine how hard it was to get him to smile.
Qual a sua?
As an orphan, I never knew my birthday. My adoptive parents took me to the overworld and made the day I joined the family my birthday. And each year on that day, my parents would give me a bouquet of first snow. The number of stems represented how many years had passed since I joined the family.
Que legal.
I only found out later that first snow represents beautiful memories. My parents gave me a beautiful childhood. And I still haven't had the chance to thank them for that.
Tá, vamos comprar? Vamos pegar uma flor.
Oh, Artem, you're such a gentleman.
Ah, meu Deus, tem que escolher entre uma das que ela falou, vixe. Sei lá, essa daqui?
Oh, ball peonies, is it? 1 second. There you go. Sorry for the wait. Hope to see you again soon.
Olha, moça.
All
Serve
done?
isso aqui?
May I have a look? Ball peonies. Nice pick. I wonder if Dad still sends Mom flowers on their anniversary. I knew you'd pick the right flowers. Mom and Dad will be so happy.
Eu sabia desde o início qual a flor eu ia pegar, moça.
Let's go. My mom will be there soon.
Você está me
Best not
subestimando.
to leave old folks waiting.
Sabia sim, confia, né?
Mentiroso! Mom!
Nat? Nat, is that you? Oh, come here, my darling.
Natasha e sua mãe adotiva dão um abraço caloroso.
It's been too long, Mom. Too long. Sorry. I don't usually get this emotional. How have you been, Mr. Oswell? Thank you so much for taking care of my parents these last 10 years.
I'm doing fine, Miss Natasha, just fine. Look at you. You've blossomed into a fine young woman. Such a pity that your father...
Dad, I was wondering where he is. Is he...
Ele já não tá mais entre nós.
It was 3 years ago, Nat. No need to be sad. He passed away very peacefully.
I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. For 10 years, I left you both in the overworld. Mr. Oswell, I'm sorry you had to bear all this weight.
Don't be, my dear. It is my honor to look after your parents.
It's not your fault that they sealed off the passage between the surface and the underground. Don't be so harsh on yourself, daughter.
Oh, Mom. I have so much to say to you. But, there's an urgent matter that needs your help. I apologize. I wish this were a happier reunion. But there are too many suffering with sickness in the underworld. You're the only person I can go to for help.
Oh, there's no need to apologize, my child. I've heard of your deeds down there, and I know you've saved many lives. Your father? He would be proud of you. We have many connections in the medical academy. No matter what you need, be it medicine or data, I should be able to get it for you. Be the doctor you always were, Nat. We have all the time in the world to catch up later.
Tá, e tá passando os detalhes, né, do projeto de suprimentos. Ela é uma ótima mãe.
She's always been there for me. With her help, we'll be able to ease the underworld's medical supply shortage. That's good news for patients who'd lost hope. I really wish I could spend the whole day talking to her about the old days. But sadly, now is not the time. Let's head back to the underworld. We need to spread the good news.
Miss Natasha, one moment, please.
Mr. Oswell? I thought you headed back home with Mom. How come...
I apologize, Miss Natasha. As a matter of fact, there's something I have to tell you in person.
Ah, não me diga que ela tá indo também, velho.
Something that Mom isn't supposed to know?
You haven't changed a bit. Smart and sensitive. The fact of the matter is, in the first 2 years after the passage was closed off, I received many letters from Master Vash.
What? Letters from Vash? Are you certain, Mr. Oswell?
Of course, miss. I recognized his handwriting. You'll see what I mean when you read the letters yourself. Actually, those letters were intended for your eyes only. The delivery address was the underworld, but because of the sealing off of the passageway, the letters were sent back to your old house, to me.
I don't understand. Did you not show them to my parents?
I'm sorry, miss. I opened one of them out of curiosity. Master Vash stressed in the letter that your parents must not know what happened to him. That's why I put the letters in a secure place, waiting to hand them to you when we could meet again.
Vixe.
I'm not sure if I did the right thing, Miss Natasha. I just didn't want your parents to feel that their son was so close and yet so far away.
Do you have the letters on you, Mr. Oswell? Let me take a look.
Of course, here. You can tell it's the young master's handwriting.
A carta não é muito longa, então eu vou dar uma lida rapidão. Natasha, como estão as coisas? Espero que você esteja bem. Como eu comentei na minha última carta, eu tenho inveja de você. Você sempre trata os seus pacientes com uma bondade inabalável. Eu tenho inveja dessa sua compaixão. Lembro de estar no palco fazendo um discurso, logo no começo da faculdade, gesticulando e defendendo o desenvolvimento da imunidade à Nevasca. Em retrospecto, eu era um tolo. Nos meus últimos dias estudando, eu me tornei cada vez mais teimoso e me fechei para todos. Meu coração foi consumido por experimentos e ambições, e os pacientes que deveriam estar sob meus cuidados foram ignorados. Natasha, eu não ouso pedir o seu perdão. Minha dívida com as pessoas do mundo de baixo já é grande demais. Eu provavelmente teria passado o resto da minha vida como um louco, absorto nas minhas convicções, se você não tivesse concordado com o meu desejo de me exilar. O frio me mostrou minha arrogância. Como uma criatura que cresceu no calor pode compreender a cura para o frio intenso? Obrigado por me dar uma última chance de descobrir a resposta. Vivo em casas abandonadas, sob tetos quebrados e continuo meus experimentos. A cada passo, faço descobertas. Estou tremendo, não pelo frio, mas sim porque sinto que estou chegando perto da resposta que procuro. Eu havia virado um pária. Pária? O que é isso? Incapaz de voltar à sociedade civilizada e de encarar os meus pais. Mas não me desesperei, pois descobri o significado da minha existência. Eu tinha a sensação de que estava no caminho certo. Os reagentes que eu desenvolvi no mundo de baixo têm um problema sério. O medicamento só trata a hipotermia e a falência dos órgãos, e acaba em um ciclo vicioso sem fim de destruição e recuperação. Eu devia ter mudado o foco há muito tempo e tentado descobrir como aumentar a temperatura dos órgãos e do corpo de uma forma mais controlada. Muito obrigado, Natasha. Você me ajudou a encontrar a peça que estava faltando no desenvolvimento. Meu Deus do céu, tô lendo tudo errado.
The cold has revealed to me my arrogance. How can a child who grew up in warmth ever begin to comprehend a cure to bitter cold? Vash didn't give up on his research into blizzard immunity, even after he left the city. I live in abandoned houses under broken roofs and continue my experiments. One step after another, I've made breakthroughs. I'm trembling, not because of the cold, but because I can feel I'm getting closer to the answer I seek. If what's in here is true, then Vash must have built a lab somewhere in the snow plains, and even made progress in his research. But how can that be?
Você acredita nisso?
There'd be no point in him lying to me in the letters. Still, it's possible he may have gone completely insane before he started writing them. I need to leave the city to recover my brother's research data. Are you willing to come with me?
Claro, vamos lá.
Leave the city? You are taking too much risk, Miss Natasha.
I know, Mr. Oswell. But I have a hero with me. He
Herói.
saved the underworld. I'm sure he'll protect me, right?
Claro, vambora.
Vash, it's been so many years. Are you still alone in the blizzard? Oh, ignore me. I'm just talking to myself. Let's go. It's time to face my past head-on. Such harsh cold. It's hard to imagine anyone surviving in these conditions. Unless blizzard immunity is real. Let's hurry up. We need to find any clues that Vash may have left behind before both of us become ice sculptures.
Então esse aqui era o laboratório dele, tipo... Caraca, era tão... óbvio, né? O lugar assim.
Here, this looks like lab equipment. Maybe Vash left it behind. Still, it's all just used test tubes, beakers, and other vessels. There's no sign of any sample reagents or lab notes for that matter.
Talvez tenha sido muito difícil para registrar, ou a memória dele seja muito boa.
Oh, I know my brother. He's meticulous when it comes to medical experiments. There's no way he wouldn't document his results. I want to go deeper into the snow plains. Can you press on any further? Gosh, the temperature keeps getting lower. But we can't give up halfway.
É verdade, né? O desbravamento tá me protegendo do frio, mas ela...
No need. Don't you underestimate the leader of wildfire.
Você quer meu casaco, moça? Posso te emprestar.
Let's press on then. This may not sound like me, but I hope that deity the architects worship can grant us some luck.
Citizens? Outside the walls? Hey, you two! Stop right there!
That's a Silvermane guard. Is he yelling at us? Oh, I'd almost forgotten. No one can leave Belobog without authorization. Looks like we need to talk our way out of this.
Você revelou sua identidade e o objetivo, né? Mas será que vai dar bom?
I can't say you sound suspicious, but I can't just take your word for it either.
Captain, look at her necklace. Maybe she's telling the truth.
It's the same as Dr. Vash's.
My brother does wear an identical necklace. Do you know him?
Are you really his sister? Dr. Vash saved a lot of my soldiers.
Saved your soldiers?
Só o quê?
Yes. Take a look at the guards patrolling outside the city. All of them are risking their lives. Aside from the monster-related casualties. We lose men to frostbite every year, but thanks to the medicine the doctor leaves us, my soldiers are able to withstand the cold. They can make camps in the snow plains as footholds for our patrols. If it weren't for the doctor, we would have long since frozen to death.
Então ele descobriu um jeito de fazer essa imunidade funcionar?
Medicine. Blizzard immunity.
Onde é que ele tá?
You don't know.
Ué, não sabe?
Dr. Vash is elusive. My squad only met him once, and he didn't seem like the talkative type. He leaves the medicine at specific locations, and our patrols go there to collect it.
Entendi.
The medicine is extremely potent. A small vial could keep someone warm for a week. Speaking of the doctor, it's been a long time since we last saw him. At least 2 or 3 years. I hope he's alive and well.
So he really did have a breakthrough in the snow plains. Oh, did the medicine have any side effects for you?
Side effects? Not that I know of. If there were a problem, it'd be that we couldn't go back to the city until the effect had worn off.
Não pode?
Because the city would be too hot for us.
Ah, verdade, né?
We'd break a sweat just sitting idle.
Thanks for the information. We're planning to head deeper into the snow plains to find my brother.
Seems like you've made up your mind. I'd really like to send some of my men with you, but we can't leave our posts. Here, take this medicine. If what you two told me is true, I'm sure you're more than capable of handling yourselves out there.
Thank you, Captain. We'll take it with us.
Ah, que bom que eu não precisei lutar com eles.
Hold on. That's a big guy over there.
Ah.
Did you see that?
Oxi.
There's something on the monster's back.
Eu tô usando a Fushuan? Ué.
Oh, the blizzard immunity. Shall we drink it? It's your call.
Não, deixa que eu bato nessa coisa. Calma aí, moça. Não bebe só ainda não. Pera aí.
100%.
Ué, eu errei? Oxi.
I'm ready. Doctor's got your back.
Ah, velho, Você tá de sacanagem que eu tinha que interagir com ele, velho, primeiro. Ah, mihoyo, qual foi?
It's done. That was my first time seeing you in battle. You've got some moves, don't you?
Obrigado,
no wonder you were
moça.
able to save the underworld. Let's have a look over there. My gut tells me we should find something connected to Vash. These are records of his experiments. It's Vash's handwriting. This must be the location of his final lab. Come have a look.
Tá.
His last experiment was nearly 2 years ago? What happened after that? His notes seem to suggest he was working to improve blizzard immunity. Brother, where are you? What happened?
Acho melhor a gente voltar.
Sorry. I needed to take a moment. After seeing the letters Mr. Oswald kept for me, I was hoping things might have ended differently. I shouldn't have asked you to come with me to such a dangerous place.
Imagina, moça. Eu aceitei ajudar, vamos até o final, né? Você sente falta dele, né?
I do. I can't forgive him for what he's done. Nor can I say I don't miss him. Maybe I should feel glad. The medicine might not have been what he wanted it to be, but it came to something. Maybe he found some inner peace.
É uma pena que as suas vítimas jamais vão descansar em paz, né?
You're right. There can be no forgiveness for the crimes he committed. He didn't deserve the title of doctor. But maybe this blizzard immunity can now bring benefit to others. Even if it was made by a monster. Human beings really are conflicted life forms.
Que foi? Por que isso do nada?
I'll take his records and data with me, and continue what he started. One day the world will see a perfect blizzard immunity. Before we leave, I'd like to ask for another favor. The last one, I promise.
Imagina. Pode pedir quantos favores você quiser. Ah, a gente fez uma lápide pra
What you
ele.
do? Hope it can withstand the snow.
Você devia colocar um epitáfio.
You're right.
É o quê?
Let me think. Here lies Vash. My brother. That'll do. Thank you for helping me. I feel like a great weight has been lifted. So long, brother. Hope you don't forget Dad's teaching. A doctor does not get to choose his or her patient, my children. Remember, never say no to those who come to you for help.
É isso, acabou. A da Natasha foi só uma em comparação da Hulk, que teve 2 missões do nada. Vamos lá ver o que ela tem para dizer dentro do expresso. Oi, moça.
Not so long ago, I was still wondering whether I'd ever see Belobog Sky again. Now I'm on a train coasting through the universe. Sorry. It's so beautiful outside. I got a little lost in thought.
Uma hora você se acostuma.
I'd love to come visit more often, if you don't mind. When I stand aboard the Express, I can feel that you and I are really the same. Manifesting our own futures in this universe to the best of our abilities.
Que é isso que significa desbravar, né?
Everyone's working hard for the bigger picture. I believe I'll have lots of happy memories here. Thank you for inviting me aboard the Astral Express.
Seja bem-vinda. Ah, tem sim, ó. A chegada da tripulação baniu o desespero que enforcava Belobog e plantou nas crianças deste mundo a semente para que elas tenham um motivo para olhar para as estrelas. Eu vou contar histórias sobre o Expresso para as crianças. Eu espero que elas sejam como vocês um dia, luzes que iluminam a vida dos outros. Legal.
Bom, rapaziada, esse foi o vídeo de hoje com as 2 missões de companheiro da Natasha. Foram 2 missões até que interessantes para descobrir um pouco mais sobre ela, a família dela, no caso o Vacher com a pesquisa dele. E por mais que no início, né, surgiram todas aquelas pessoas que tiveram sequelas por causa disso. Mas nessa segunda missão mostrou o quanto que ele era pelo menos mostrou que ele pelo menos era um pouco mais humano, né? Não um médico doido que não sei o que. E até que ele ajudou os guardas que ficam fazendo patrulha do lado de fora da cidade a resistirem ao frio. Tanto que parece que foi aí que a pesquisa meio que deu certo, né? Digamos assim. E a Natasha, se eu não me engano, ela vai continuar com a pesquisa dele, né? Ou algo assim do tipo. E tem mais uma missão de companheiro que eu vou postar antes de começar os vídeos de belobog de fato, né? Que é a missão de companheiro da Serval. Vai sair se tudo der certo, vai sair na segunda-feira. Aí na terça vai ter vídeo de Genshin. E a partir disso nós vamos começar com o Penacone o mais rápido possível. E assim, confesso que tá um pouco difícil de dar um foco no canal, porque eu chego extremamente cansado do serviço, eu quase não tenho coragem de fazer nada, né? Nem os vídeos eu tenho mais força de vontade para querer fazer, mas estamos indo, né? Estou trabalhando justamente para isso, conseguir um PC novo para conseguir fazer meus vídeos da melhor forma possível e quem sabe algum dia até fazer lives ou algo assim. Bom, enfim, né? Esse foi o vídeo, espero que vocês tenham gostado, deixem um like, se inscrevam no canal e a gente se vê numa próxima.